Charvaka, India's forgotten atheist philosophy. Rationalism in the ancient world. In ancient India, sages spoke about karma, rebirth, moksha, yoga, nirvana. But among these philosophies stood one that challenged everything. A school that rejected the Vedas, dismissed rituals, questioned gods, and celebrated life instead of renouncing it. This was Charvaka, also known as Lokayata, the philosophy of the people, rooted in the tangible world. A school bold, humorous, rational, and surprisingly modern. Birth of a materialist school. Charvaka emerged around 600 BCE, in the same period that gave rise to Buddhism, Jainism, and other heterodox traditions. But where Buddhism spoke of suffering and liberation, and Jainism insisted on non-violence and karma, Charvaka said, "This world is enough. What we see is real. What we can test is knowledge." Some texts credit Brihaspati as the founder, others treat him symbolically. Charvaka wasn't one sage, it was an intellectual movement questioning established power. Their primary epistemology was simple. Pratyaksha, direct perception, is the only reliable knowledge. Inference, anumana, is useful but not absolute. Scriptures and testimony are unreliable unless verified. It was the earliest form of empiricism in Indian thought. The philosophy of the senses. While Vedanta spoke of Brahman, Sankhya of Purusha and Prakriti, Charvaka said, "The material world is primary. Consciousness emerges from the body like fragrance from a flower. No immortal soul. No heaven or hell. No unseen karma machine." Their worldview emphasized, matter is the only reality. Mind is a product of body. Death is the end, not a portal. And they didn't hide their hedonism. One verse preserved in later texts reads, "Ivat jevet sukham jevitaram ktevit macron gchatam pibet pasmaptasya dehasya punragmanam kuta." Live happily while you live. Borrow if needed, but enjoy ghee. Once the body turns to ash, who returns? A rebellion against austerity-driven traditions. Clash with Vedic orthodoxy. Where Vedic ritualists believed sacrifices led to heaven, Charvaka replied, rituals enrich priests, not gods. Where karma doctrine claimed future rebirth, Charvaka asked, has anyone returned to report it? This created tension with Brahmanical orthodoxy. As a result, most surviving references to Charvaka come from critics, in texts like Manusmriti, Mahabharat, Sarvdarshana Sangraha, Madhvacharya, Nyaya and Vedant commentaries. We rarely hear Charvakas in their own voice, their texts are lost. But opponents preserved enough to see how powerful their argument must have been. Charvaka versus other philosophies. While others sought liberation from worldly suffering, Charvaka saw worldly happiness itself as valid. They were early humanists, valuing joy, not renunciation. Even Buddhists debated them. In some texts, Buddha gently refutes materialist views, showing how Charvakas were active participants in intellectual culture. Their role: to challenge, question, and force refinement of ideas. Decline and disappearance. Charvaka never had royal patronage like Buddhism or institutional monastic networks like Jainism. It was a street philosophy, Lokayata, of the common people, humorous and often satirical. The lack of written preservation, combined with religious revival, led to its gradual fading. By the medieval period, it existed more as a debated memory than a living tradition. Yet, the thought survived underground, in folk skepticism, in court jesters' satire, in poems mocking ritual, in everyday common sense. Whenever someone says, "Show me proof," a Charvaka spark lives on. Influence on modern thought. In modern India, Charvaka is often seen as ancient rationalism, proto-science, materialist humanism, critical thinking tradition. While lost as a formal lineage, it influenced Indian secularism, rational inquiry, and the scientific temper promoted today. Philosophers identify it as one of the world's earliest atheist schools, predating Greek materialists by centuries in some estimations. In an age of superstition and misinformation, Charvaka feels strangely fresh. Charvaka may not have temples, scriptures, or saints. But it left something perhaps more powerful, a tradition of questioning. A reminder that skepticism is essential for wisdom, and that truth must stand the test of experience. In the symphony of Indian philosophy, Charvaka was the bold percussion, loud, disruptive, grounding. And though the voice grew faint over time, it never fully vanished. As long as humans ask why, Charvaka breathes. If you like the video, please click on the like, subscribe and share buttons. Hit the bell icon to receive the latest updates.